Hey guys, it's Kovu. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am dressed as Leaf Yarn. This is from Mob Bunny. I am obsessed with it. I think it's the cutest fucking thing in the universe. I might take this off actually. I just realised it's gonna make jingly noises every time I move. There we go. Hopefully there won't be any other, because I think the thing that it's on is fine. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, I love this thing. It is absolutely adorable. I would highly recommend going and checking out Mob Bunny. This is super soft and I love it. Anyway, back onto the topic of today's video. Today I'm going to be telling you all about my colonoscopy, which is a tough topic to talk about, but I think that it is important, especially because of who I am. Like, I am a young female, and that is not typically the demographic for colonoscopies, and I know that it can be quite scary to be part of that smaller demographic, and you feel like you shouldn't really be there and that this shouldn't be happening to you, and it is a procedure that you don't tend to think about, and I just want other people who have to go through these things, and people who have struggled like I have, to have someone their own age and maybe their own like gender and all that kind of stuff tell them how their experience was. So I took some like vlog style clips on my phone throughout this experience. I was going to do the whole thing as like a vlog, but I wasn't able to record that much because of what I was going through, so I thought the best way to do it would be a sit down video where I talk to you guys, insert the clips as they happen. I've got a lot of notes on my phone about before, during, after, all that kind of stuff, and this might be a long video, but I'm not really bothered if it ends up being like 40 minutes to an hour, because I think that this information is important, and I think telling you about my experience could help you with yours, or could help you expect what's coming and just kind of give you a little bit more, so that if you're worried like I am, you have something to refer back to. Because I watched a young girl's YouTube video, it was really hard to find. She made it 7 years ago, and I just think that there needs to be more out there about this, because it is a scary thing. I know a lot of celebrities have had it done, but again, it's not the same, you know. When it comes from a celebrity, it's not the same as coming from your everyday person. So here I am. Okay, so here is my notes app. I've split it down into evening of packet 1, morning of packet 2, at the hospital, after at home, and the days after. So there'll be like 5 segments in this video, because I think that that breaks it up pretty well. So I had to do a 2-day program for my colonoscopy. It will tell you, your doctor will tell you, and the packet will tell you which instructions to follow based on what your doctor thinks is best for you. So I was actually given 2 rounds of bowel prep, because they weren't sure if I was going to need 1 or 2. I ended up just needing the 1, so I'm going to tell you about that. I was with Planvu, or Planvu. It was the second packet that I was given. So if you are on that packet, then this video hopefully will help you, because you're on the same bowel prep. If not, it will still be useful to you, because all bowel prep essentially is to do the same thing. The instructions might just be a little bit different in your bowel prep. However, I have found that watching that other girl's video from 7 years ago and my own experience, the packets may have been different, but the way that you prepare and the way that you take it has been the same. So hopefully this will still help you. Also, quick preface, I am in the UK, so if you are outside of the UK, it might be a little bit different, but again, I hope that this will help in some way. Okay, so as I said, I was with Planvu, so with this packet, I had to do a couple things the day before I took it and the day of. So first of all, the day before, I only ate white rice, some fish, like really like plain haddock codfish, and custard, and then the morning of at about 8 AM I had a McFlurry, because on the list of things that I can and can't eat, it said I could eat ice cream. So I was like, you know what, if I'm not going to eat for like 2 days, I'll have ice cream for breakfast. So I had a McFlurry about 8 AM, and then I wasn't able to eat anything else. It did say that I could cut off eating at 1 PM that day. However, I was out doing things, because if I had just sat at home, I would have panicked. So I just decided to have my McFlurry and then not eat anything else that day. So my bowel prep actually started at 6 PM on the Friday. I had to take a packet 1, I think it was called, or dose 1, which was mango flavored for me. Now I was really worried this was going to ruin mango flavor, because I really like mangoes, but it was fine. Yeah, I'll insert the clips now, because I think this is when I started filming. So I had to make up dose 1, packet 1, whatever, and it made up about a pint of liquid in total, which is kind of gross to think about, and there was a lot more powder than I thought there would be, which also kind of put me off. But when I tell you that this motherfucker is the saltiest thing that I have ever drank in my life, it was the saltiest thing I had ever drank in my life. Like, you think seawater is salty and then you drink this. Like, it was absolutely foul. So some tips that I would give for getting around that is either add cordial to the liquid, so get like a mango cordial or something, add it to the Plumvu itself or your bowel prep itself. You have to take 500 milliliters of liquid with it anyway. Put cordial in that liquid, don't just make it water, so you can get the taste out of your mouth ASAP. Make sure it's something sweet, so like apple juice or like a sweet cordial, maybe like orange cordial or something. And just make sure that you have it like right next to it so you can just wha-bam, because that is the only way I was able to get this down, and it still took me a lot longer than it was supposed to get it down. In my instruction booklet it said that I should have been able to get both the packet 1 drink and the extra 500 ml drink down in an hour. It took me about 2.5 hours to get that down in total, and it was just horrific. I kept wanting to throw it up. I did actually keep refluxing it up, and I had to swallow it back down in my mouth. I am someone who is extremely prone to nausea and vomiting, so it was really, really difficult for me. However, if you aren't prone to things like that, like you don't constantly have to vomit or constantly have nausea or anything like that, you will be much more fine than I am. It's just that for me personally, I really, really struggle with keeping things down, so that's why I struggled so much. But please don't let that put you off. Everyone else that I've seen has said it does taste salty, it isn't a nice taste. However, they haven't thrown up, they haven't felt the nausea. It's more just being like, it's gross essentially. So don't worry, you're not gonna mess it up if you take longer. The point is, I think, that they want you to get it down in that amount of time so they can make sure that there is no chance of you still needing to go when you get to the hospital. However, if you do take a bit longer, it's totally okay as long as you get through the entire course of bowel prep. So at the start, as I said, it took me 2.5 hours to take the bowel prep sachet 1 with the extra fluids. I did also drink a lot of extra fluids on top of that, as you do have to keep hydrated. If you're losing that much like stuff inside your body, you're going to be flushing out your electrolytes at the same time, so you do have to make sure that you keep drinking, whether that be like apple juice, Lucozade, cordial, just anything to kind of replenish your brain's electrolytes and things to make sure you don't like get dehydrated and things like that. This is mango.
Miss Palm, it's a pleasure. Oh, don't be like that.
Oh my god, it's...
There's no reason to be nervous. I imagine the chairman didn't tell you very much, did he? Allow me to explain.
That helps. That helps a lot. Drink cordial with it. It's so fucking salty. It's so fucking salty.
We will go back to the NGL. I don't care what we have to do.
It's so fucking salty. I literally feel like I'm gonna be sick. I'm not gonna be able to do this in an hour. There's no way I'm gonna be able to finish both in an hour. Like, I can't. It's already been like 30 minutes and I'm not even halfway fucking through it. It's just so much. I feel like I'm gonna vomit.
I don't have any comebacks, but I'm not just gonna stand here and take it. Just so you know. Show me rock!
So it did take me 2.5 hours to drink that. It took another maybe half an hour after that for me to even start going to the toilet. So my setup was, I was in bed with my colouring books, I had anime on the TV, and then I had the toilet literally like there from me. It's literally like a straight line. It was easy to get to, and everyone in my house was warned that that is my toilet, nobody go in it. I need it open at all times. Okay, just a quick update. This is what my colouring book's looking like. It's currently now, just cover the camera. It's currently 8 o'clock now, so it's been an hour and a half since I started drinking this, which is half an hour, obviously more than I was supposed to drink all of this. I still have like, I'm gonna say like 3/4 because I have like a tiny bit left in the bottle in the fridge as well. This is almost gone though because I've just been drinking that. I've now been to the toilet twice. And you know what? It's not even that bad. Like, I was so scared of going to the toilet during all. Also, I'm so bloated because my body just bloats everywhere when I'm fucking sick. Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be on the toilet, but when you need to go, you need to go. Like, it's really bad. As in the urge to go is really bad. But yeah, I'm going to try and drink some more of this. I'm going to try and get it done before 8:30 because then I'll have taken 2 hours to drink it. But, you know, I can't get it down. I'm like chucking it back up in my throat. So yeah, also yeah, I know I look really rough in this video and really fat and horrible and gross, but it can't be helped. This is shit that happened. And it took about, it gives you about 45 seconds once you feel like you need to go to get to the toilet. So I'd say that's enough time for most people to get up and sprint up the stairs or get up and like run to the bathroom if you're on the same floor as it, that type of thing. So you do get a decent amount of time before you actually like need to go now, you know. You do have a chance to get there before you just go. For me personally, it was not like liquid straight away, which is... Obviously, I'm chronically constipated, that's why I'm going for this colonoscopy, and it was still like hard nuggets for a while on my bowel prep, which made it quite painful to pass. However, again, that's everybody's going to be different during this bowel prep. For me personally, I've had this constipation since I was 2, so it's like a lifelong thing. If you've only just recently started having constipation or you're having a colonoscopy for other reasons and you're not constipated and things, most people, like 90% of people, have liquid straight away, and that is like you'll most likely have that straight away. If you are someone like me who has had issues like this since they were little, you might have to unfortunately push through the constipation phase because it is forcing it out. So it can be quite painful, and for someone like me as well, I have what's known as a fissure. So it's like a tear. My tear's about that. I'm sorry, I'm looking in the viewfinder to kind of show you, like that long on the back of my butt. So that was quite painful because it obviously ripped open again. So there was blood in mine. However, again, if you don't have a fissure, you won't experience that. You will just have liquid, which is much, much better, because as soon as it did become liquid for me, it was such a much more, I'm going to say pleasant experience, because it was more pleasant than the constipation bit. And it doesn't hurt. Like, I think that's something that a lot of people are afraid of, is that it hurts. And I personally was afraid of dying of dysentery, which sounds ridiculous, but it's something that I've always been scared of, is dying of dysentery. So I promise you right now, you will not die of dysentery. You will not be in pain. Like, it won't hurt coming out. It won't, like, you won't bleed, none of that kind of thing. You are going to be absolutely fine, I promise. But I just want you to be aware of some of the caveats that can come with it. Hi, I'm filming this on Snapchat because it's really late and I don't have any brains left. It's like 1:45 and everything hurts. Like, everything hurts. Like, my insides don't feel good. It's not like pain, I guess. Like, it's pain on like my butt because it's raw from wiping. A TMI, but I feel like you need to know these things in case you're also going to go through this. And my inside, they don't, like, there's not pain, but it's like uncomfy because there's loads of like air bubbles and shit going around, like, whoa. Yeah. And I have to take the second dose at 6 a.m. and I'm not finished now. I don't even, like, I might have finished, but I don't feel clean. You know, like, I thought I would feel empty. Like, I thought, like, I would feel like there's nothing left, but I don't. I feel like there's still a lot. So I might get there tomorrow and they might be like, yeah, we can't do it, which is great. It did also take me 2 hours or however long to drink the liquid because it was so vile. And for everyone that's going to be like, I should have just sucked it up. I couldn't do that because I was throwing it up. I was re-swallowing what I couldn't keep down already over 2 hours. So, yeah. But I'm going to attempt to, I don't know, I'm going to try and sleep. And if I just hope I wake up if I need to go again. But I am very tired. Okay, so 6 a.m, dose 2. It is the exact same amount of liquid, the exact same amount of extra fluids, and you have to take it in the same amount of time as dose 1. But you take it at 6 a.m. So I woke up at 5 something and I made the dose. I started taking it about 6:15, I believe. It only actually took me an hour and a half this time. The fruit punch flavour, in my opinion, was better than the mango. It was still salty as all hell. However, the cordial made the fruit punch taste less than the mango. Like, you could taste the salt through the cordial in the mango, whereas the fruit punch one it did take it out a little bit, but don't get me wrong, it was still extremely salty. As I was saying before, it was a lot more frequent on dose 2. It was like every 5-10 minutes that I was going. Again, you can't eat anything, so I had a Lucozade for breakfast and some apple juice, as well as obviously the 500 mils of extra liquid. It was a lot more watery the day after as well. There was a lot more like consistently water coming out of me. It did end up turning yellow. It's supposed to, on the leaflet, it says that once you are going clear, like it is clear liquid coming out of you, your bowel prep is complete, you have cleaned out your bowels, it should stop. Mine was yellow. It did not go clear once. I guess it was clear but yellow, so I was kind of worried because there was nothing about it being yellow in the leaflet. It was just like, it should be transparent, it should be clear, but in hindsight maybe they did mean just like it could be any colour, just clear, I don't know, but mine was yellow, so I think that at the end of it I was either getting bile out or something else was coming out. It was just not a bueno time, but it did go clear in the end, so just be, aware that if it is yellow but it's still clear, you're totally fine, don't panic, it's all good, it's supposed to do that. Okay, so it's the morning, my phone is like, you have no more stories left, so I don't know how long this is going to be, but I've just had the second packet. It's taken me an hour and a half this time to drink it, so like an hour less than it took me last night, but I feel very sick. I'm going like very frequently, like I've literally just been and I think I'm about to go again, so this morning is definitely worse than it was last night. Something else that annoyed me was that because you are drinking so much fluid, you also do need to pee. So if you're going to the toilet, you are not only peeing out your butt, you're peeing normally. So you're like double peeing. It's a really weird feeling, I'm not gonna lie to you. So just also be aware of that you will be double peeing. On day 2 after the dose 2, I was also in a bit more pain, mainly from the fact that my fissure had opened and that my butt was raw from wiping. I did have some flushable toilet wipes with me. I know they're not great for the environment, I know, but in this situation I was not 100% bothered, to be honest with you, which is a horrible thing to say, but I needed something, so I was doing that. I didn't use loads, I only used like 3, but I needed something every now and then just to stop the pain from wiping. So just make sure you buy yourself maybe like some nice toilet paper, some nice soft stuff, because again, you'll be wiping a lot and I don't want anyone to hurt themselves. I was also a lot more nauseated on this day than I was the first day. Again, I think that is partly due to hunger though. When I get hungry, I get nauseous, and that makes me not want to eat even more because I'm so nauseous. So I think the combination of the salt, the no eating, the dehydration, and everything, I was just so nauseated. So again, if you do struggle with nausea, just be warned, you are going to feel it. So I had some ginger beer in the fridge, just to try and take some of that nausea away, because apparently ginger is quite good for that, as well as green tea. So I did have some green tea and ginger beer just to try and like settle the nausea a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really work. I just wanted to be sick, but it is what it is. The last thing about dose 2, before we move on to the hospital, is that I dropped a lot of blood. So I wear my Garmin watch a lot because I have a lot of trouble with my heart rate. It's very high a lot of the time, and then it drops all of a sudden, and then it gets high all of a sudden. It's very all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. So I like to keep it on because if it gets too high or too low, I pass out or I drop or any of this. And I went to the toilet and I could feel my heart drop, and I looked at my watch and it had dropped to about 22. It had gone from 97 to 22 in the space of about 2 seconds, and I felt it and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened, oh my god. And I got up to see what had just happened because I was like, something doesn't feel right, and I had just blood. Just a lot of blood in the toilet, and I'm used to blood in the toilet from my fissure, but this was like, it felt like a lot had just whoomp. So I'm not sure what happened there. Again, there was, you know, I don't know, I probably should have rung the doctor at that point. So if you do see a lot of blood in the toilet, please just ring your doctor just to make sure that it's nothing, because I'm an idiot and didn't. But yeah, no, ring your doctor if there is anything like that, because your heart should not go from 97 to 22, and especially if there's a lot of blood in the toilet straight after that. So just please ring your doctor, be sensible, don't be like me and be scared, be good and check with your doctor that nothing's gone wrong. Okay, so it is now 3 p.m. I have not eaten since 8 a.m. the day before. I am ravenous. I have cleared my bowels as best that I could. I am ready to head to the hospital. So I wore something comfy. It said on the letter to take slippers and a dressing gown and stuff, so I did. I didn't actually end up needing them, so, you know, but it said to take them, so I did. And then, yeah, we went to the hospital. I had my mum stay with me because I was really nervous. I was really worried about this whole thing, so I was so glad that somebody said they would stay with me. So we headed up to the endoscopy unit. We sat down in the waiting area after checking in, and then I got taken into a consultation room with a doctor, I believe. I believe it was a doctor, not a nurse, which I thought was quite weird because I never have doctors for consultations. They're always nurses, but, you know, I don't know, I had a doctor, it's weird. So they ran me through the whole thing. Obviously I didn't film in there because I was crying. So they had a little, like, I want to say a toy. It's probably not, it's like a biologically accurate intestine and colon system 3D model thing, and they pointed at it and showed me whereabouts they're going to be going in my digestive system. I meant colon. They were going all the way through up to the appendix, essentially in the start of the lower intestine, and I had quite a thick camera in me apparently, and basically they just went through my medical history. They made me sign a waiver, obviously, just all like the normal things, and then they asked me if I wanted nothing, gas in it, or sedation. I opted for sedation. I opted for sedation because I am a massive scaredy cat. I'm not scared of pain. I don't mind pain. Pain is fine. It's more, I don't want to be awake in case something goes wrong. I would rather be asleep and then wake up after and somebody tell me what went wrong, you know? So I wanted to be sedated. Now, you cannot be put under for a colonoscopy, which sucks. If there is ever an option to be put fully under, I will go for it. That was not an option in this case, so I went for sedation, and they sedated me as much as they could, which I very much appreciate, but we'll get on to that in a minute. So after this little consultation, they were actually ready for me already, so I had to say goodbye to my mum, which was sad, and then I went through to the changing areas. Now in the changing areas, they told me I needed to get undressed from the waist down, so I had to take my pants off, my underwear had to come off, my shoes had to come off, but I was allowed to keep my socks on, which was nice. So I kept my socks on. They then gave me these massive blue paper shorts with a flap in the butt, for modesty reasons obviously, so I had to wham them on, look how stylish I am. And then I had to go sit in a corridor and wait. And although they said they were ready for me then, I actually was sat there waiting for about 40 minutes, I'm gonna say. It was a long wait, and I was just panicking the entire time. I was just like tears streaming. I was like, no, I'll be fine, no, I'll be fine. tears streaming, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. I also had a cannula put into this part of my arm at this point, which was totally fine. They were worried that I'd be scared of needles. I was like, nah, needles are chill, stick it in. So I had my cannula in my arm and I kept accidentally flinging it. I was like, oh, probably shouldn't do that, whoops. So then when it was finally time to take me, I walked into the operating room, which I'm not gonna lie was really scary to me. I've never been, well, I have been in a full operating room, but I've only been in once before, and I was under like, I was put under for that. So being awake in an operating room was a very scary thing for me, because it felt, it's gonna sound stupid, it felt really real, and it just shocked me. So yeah, I went in, the nurse that took me in was lovely. I had 4 people in the room with me. I had a male doctor, which honestly is fine. I'm not really bothered as long as they do their job. Like, well, obviously, I don't really care. I just want somebody who's going to do the job well. I had 1 male doctor, 2 female doctors and a female nurse in there with me. And they couldn't actually start on me for 10 minutes because I was sat there and I could not stop crying. My body would not stop crying. I just could not. I was like, I'm really sorry, it won't stop coming out. I'm ready, I'm just really sorry, it won't stop. So then they were talking to me about, all this and that. They were saying, oh, we're going to give you sedation, it's going to be better than any alcohol you've ever had in your life, you'll feel so good. I was like, I'm so excited. So then I laid down on my left hand side with my knees tucked up to my chest. They took my arm out where the cannula was, clipped it into the little thingy thing for the sedation, and yeah, they started giving me the sedation. And they were like, okay, Kovu, you need to tell us if if it hurts, because we can move you into different positions, we can make sure that it's as comfy as possible. I was like, okay. And then I didn't even realize that they had started. I had no idea. I was just sat there like, oh my god, the world is so, oh my god, whoa. And I was just like, what the fuck, this lamp is so cool, what the fuck, oh my god, I want this lamp, please, it's like metal. I was high as fuck. So I didn't even realise it had gone in, and then they turned the screen around to me when they got to the very end of my colon. And they were like, do you want to see? I was like, yeah. Which I didn't think I would want to see, but I did apparently. So they turned the screen around, they showed me them going back out my colon. Apparently they'd already been all the way through it. And they showed me my appendix, they showed me my lower intestine, they backtracked all the way out. They were like, yeah, you've got perfectly clean, like, healthy colon. Like, you have a very pretty colon. I was like, thank you. I've never had a compliment on my colon before, but thank you. Yeah, so it was very interesting, and they took a lot of pictures so that it's on my, like, paperwork and stuff, that you can see that it's all clean, there's literally nothing wrong, which is a double-edged sword, because it's like, well, if there's nothing wrong, why am I so constipated all the time? But we'll figure that out in the next steps. But yeah, I have a perfectly clean, perfectly nice colon. They didn't have to do any biopsies, they didn't have to take any polyps, they didn't have to do anything. And then they took it out, and then they told me to lie flat on the bed, so I was like, yes. And then they wheeled me into the next room, and I just sat there for like 10 minutes. And they said, you can go get changed now. And then I wobbled my way over to get changed. I went to the toilet because I was like, I need to wee, I feel like I'm going to poop again. I didn't poop, I just farted a lot, I'm not gonna lie. That is something you need to be aware of. You are gonna fart a hell of a lot because there is so much air inside of you for getting the thing up you. You're gonna be so full of air, it's crazy. But yeah, so they did that, and then I got changed, and then they told me to get back on the bed. I was like, okay. So I had to lie there for another like 5-10 minutes. They didn't offer me any snacks, which makes me sad, because in the letter it said after your sedation they'll make you eat a biscuit, and I was like, where's my biscuit? I want a biscuit. But yeah, they didn't give me a biscuit, so I was kind of sad about that. But yeah, and then they told me to get up, so I walked with this nurse, running into things all the time, obviously, back to the consultation room, waiting and everything, where my mum was, and yeah, then I went home, which was interesting. So yeah, it didn't hurt or anything. It wasn't like, I didn't feel literally any of it, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know a lot of people said that they felt uncomfortable and stuff. I had that much sedation that I was like this far off being under, because of how panicky and how fast my heart was going and stuff like that. So I literally didn't feel anything. but the bed was super, I remember the bed being like the comfiest thing in the fucking universe, so anyone going for one, that bed that you lie on is, oh my god, it's so nice. So enjoy the bed. So I was on my way home. I was super dizzy, super wobbly. It was like this the whole way home, like wee, high off my brain, like absolutely just gone. Yeah, and then nothing was painful. I didn't have any like sharp stabbing pain. I didn't have any like butt pain. I had nothing like that. It was just a lot of air inside of me, like I needed to fart all the time, but I couldn't. It was like that painful gas that you have, you know, like when you really need to fart but you can't. It was kind of like that. I just had that, and my tummy was making all these like bubbly, foamy sounds. It was, but that's all that there was for me personally. There wasn't anything like. It was just a bit uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't pain. So if you're worried about pain, I would say it was like a 1 out of 10 personally for pain. They said that going to the toilet when I got home wouldn't be normal for a while as well. They said that it would still be quite sloppy. However, again, I've only just been to the toilet and it's been over a week. It's been like a week and a little bit since my procedure, and I'm fully constipated again. I'm fully constipated. So I don't know, I've not had a sloppy movement, but again, I've had constipation issues since I was little. If you're not, you know, if you're not the same like that, chances are you probably will be quite sloppy after still. So just be aware of that. But for me, again, I've just been constipated. So I did have I got like a little dairy milk bar. What the fuck is that? Like a little dairy milk bar. You know, the ones that have like 6 pieces in it. And I had about half of that when I got home because I was just so hungry and so dizzy. I was like, I need something. I'm going to pass out. And I drank all my Lucozades the day before. So I had like 3 squares of that just to kind of keep me awake. You'll be able to see in this clip how like weird my eyes were and shit. And then for dinner, my mum made me a jacket potato with cheese and bacon. I don't like cheese. However, jacket potato with cheese and bacon, I can't say no to, because I don't know what it is. I don't like cheese, but on pizza and jacket potatoes, it suddenly becomes really delicious. So who knows? But yeah, so I had that for my dinner because I thought, you know, carbs, protein, fats, that's a pretty okay meal, I think. It's like pretty mushy, so it should go through okay. But yeah, I haven't, obviously I'm wrong. I just didn't go to the toilet at all. But yeah, the gas kind of left within, I'd say like the next couple of days. It was probably like 3 days in total that I was quite gassy for. But again, afterwards I felt pretty fine. I did take the day off work the day after my procedure because I didn't know if I was going to be sloppy, and I didn't want to go to work if I was going to have to keep running to the toilet and stuff. So I did take that day off. I would recommend that you take the day off afterwards if you do have a late appointment like I did, just in case, because you never know about like what your body's going to do after the procedure. Everyone's different, so you very well much could still have runny toilets afterwards and stuff like that. And even if you don't, if you're still full of air and you need to keep farting and stuff, it's probably not the nicest thing. You probably feel quite embarrassed doing it at work, so I would just recommend taking it off anyway, to be honest with you. So the ironic thing as well is that I actually started my period the day after my procedure, which sucked. Because, you know, I'd just gone through all this, I was super hungry in that, and I felt bloated and disgusting about myself, and then bam, now I still feel bloated and disgusting about myself because I'm on my period. So that was quite ironic, I'm not gonna lie. That could also be the reason that I didn't go to the toilet, but again, it just, I don't know. I actually have no idea. So, yeah. So I hope that kind of summed up a little bit more about the procedure. I hope like putting the little clips in there kind of showed you a bit more of what it'd be like. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll be more than happy to answer them. I just wanted to make like a bit of a more like what happened while I was there type of video, just in case. Just wanted you guys to know like what it's been like from the perspective of someone like me who's had constipation since I was a kid and is going through these things, and is a young female who keeps getting dismissed by doctors all the time. And like, I just want people who are also feeling like dismissed and struggling and not understanding why they are like they are to have someone else go through that. You know, you can go through it together. You can be like, I'm not alone, because I feel very alone right now. And to be honest, like sometimes when I moved GPs, that's why I ended up getting the colonoscopy, because this GP actually took me seriously about my issues. My old GP would just tell me I'm a woman, it's my hormones, it's my period, it's, even when I wasn't on my period or near my period, it was like, it's your period. Bitch, I only get one period like every 7 months, what the fuck? Or he'd say like, no, you're too young to have that, no, you can't have that yet because of this and that. Have more laxatives, keep taking laxatives, just have laxatives. Oh well, we can't do anything, it's just the way you are, we're not even gonna try anything. So I just want everybody else to know that if you have a doctor that's doing that to you, it's okay. Like, you're not alone, and they suck. They really suck. And you shouldn't be treated like that. You deserve way better. So I'm going to go back to my new GP now who sent me for this, and I'm going to see what the next step is. I think the next step now for me, from my point of view, is to look at my stomach, which would probably entail an endoscopy, which I'm not excited for. I'm even less excited for that than the fucking colonoscopy, but I don't know, we'll find out what the next step is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, any questions, please leave them below. I really want to start being more open with these things, because I think them being taboo and gross is a horrible mindset to have when you have health issues. And I always think that toilet health issues are always laughed at and like taken the piss out of, and it's not funny because it's something that affects your entire body. Like, if you have an issue like that, your whole body is absolutely fucked. So yeah, I just want people to feel more accepted, and yeah. So my name is Kovu. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Kovu out. Bye.